Part 2, Chapter 6. That week we were allowed to start official practices. Downs had us doing two-a-days right from the start, a morning session in full pads with full contact, and an afternoon session in shorts and helmet. Drager and Clark were both on the first team. Drew and I were the backups. Not bad considering how far down we'd started, but not where either one of us wanted to end up. Taking the starting spot from Drager was going to be hard. The guy was tough inside runner. I never saw him knock backwards, not even by blitzing linebackers. He always delivered at least as good a hit as he received, and when he went down, he got the extra yards that come with falling forward. That wasn't true of me. Lots of times I got stopped right in my tracks and was unable to fall forward, so he had me on that. But on the sweep plays and on the swing passes, I was able to get off and running just a split second faster. That split second meant that I could make the corner more often, and it meant that I had the better chance to break the big one. That's exactly what I did one Friday on the last play of practice. We were running a 7-on-7 game. Drager had pulled himself off the field, claiming some sort of injury, so I was working with the first team. Everybody else was dragging, waiting for practice to end, but the adrenaline was flowing for me. I took a pitch out from Aaron Clark and flat out beat everybody to the corner. Once I was around it, I was off to the races. There's no feeling in the world like looking up and seeing green in front of you, green and more green. I streaked all the way into the end zone, untouched. I trotted back, breathing heavily. Downs called for the ball, and I flipped it to him. "Good effort, Johnson," he said. Then he turned on Drager. "Did you see how he got around the corner? No hesitancy, none. That's what I've been trying to get you to do for 2 years now." Drager didn't blink, but when Downs turned away from him, his eyes went straight to me. He stared me down for a while, and then he spit. Downs blew his whistle, his assistants blew theirs, and 2 minutes later we were all on one knee looking at him. "Monday morning you'll find depth charts posted on the gym door. If you were a starter last year, you might want to check. I suspect some of you will be surprised. You give me effort, I'll reward you. You don't, I won't." As I headed toward the locker room, Downs' eyes caught mine and he gave me a nod. Was he telling me that I'd moved past Drager? That I was first team? Back home, I took a long shower and ate, and then Drew came over. He'd seen my run for a touchdown and he'd heard Downs. "He was talking to you, Mick." "No doubt about it. You wait. You'll be first team on Monday." "I don't know," I said. "Bet?" I shook my head. "I don't want to jinx myself." We watched an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie and played some Madden NFL, and then he went home. Just after he left, my dad came in the door. Seeing him got my juices going again. "How'd the week go?" he asked. "Good," I said. "Meaning?" I couldn't keep it in. "Meaning I think I'm first team." My dad's face broke into a huge grin. "That's it, Mick. That's the prize. Being a 4-year letterman is good. Being a 4-year starter is 10 times better." When Drew and I neared the field Monday morning, a bunch of the guys were already grouped around the depth charts. I tried to act casual, and so did Drew. We walked up as if we were checking on the library schedule. I found the running back list and read the names. 1. Matt Drager. 2. Mick Johnson. 3. Kurt Belfair. "I'm still number 2, Drew said to me, his voice low. "How about you?" "Same," I said, my throat tight. I felt someone leaning on me. I turned. It was Drager. "You're clueless, aren't you?" "What are you talking about?" I said. "What am I talking about? All that kissing you did last week, paying attention to every little thing Downs says and going full speed in every little drill he runs. It's a waste of time." "Oh yeah," I said. "Why's that?" He pushed his face right into mine. "Downs doesn't start freshmen. Freshmen do the dirty work, punt returns and kick returns and all that special teams stuff. It's his way of breaking you in. So stop looking at the board. Your name is never going to be above mine. Number 2 you are, and number 2 you will remain." I looked around. Brad Middleton had heard, and he nodded. "He's right, Mick. Unless Drager blows out his knee or something, you'll be lucky to get 10 carries all year." Drager grinned. "And I ain't getting hurt, Mick, so stop with all the rah-rah stuff. It makes everybody want to puke." I wouldn't let myself believe it. All through the second week, I outplayed Drager. I out-hustled him. I out-hit him. All through the second week, Drager smirked at me. It drove me crazy, that smirk. He couldn't be right. He just couldn't. But the next Monday, when Drew and I checked the depth charts, nothing had changed. Number 1, Matt Drager. Number 2, Mick Johnson. "Let it go, Mick," Drew said to me at the end of the day. "Let what go?" I said. Downs won't start us, he said. We're going to have to wait our turn. I looked at him. Wait our turn? Drager's a junior, Drew. So is Clark. You're talking about waiting for 2 years. He opened his hands in front of him. There's nothing we can do. He was right, and I knew it. But just thinking about telling my dad made my palms go cold. That night I slipped downstairs once I heard the Jeep pull into the driveway. It was almost midnight. Dad, I said as he opened the door. He jumped. Mick, you startled me. I'm sorry, it's just that... Give me a second, all right? He put his briefcase down and went into the kitchen. I followed. He opened the refrigerator and got himself a beer. All right, he said once he'd opened it. What's up? I took a deep breath and then explained Downs' policy and how he'd stuck to it for years. I'll play on all the special teams, though. Kickoffs, punts, extra points, and field goals. I'm on every unit. It's not like I won't be out there. He took a swig of his beer. What about alternating? Any chance you and this Drager will do that? No, I said. I might get some carries in the fourth quarter of blowouts, but that's it. He scowled. That's stupid. It makes you sit there and hope your teammate breaks his neck. I know, but there's nothing I can do. He put his beer down. Mick, here's what I say. Keep outworking that Drager kid. Outwork him every day in every drill. Make that coach play you. So Mick has been working so hard, but we find out that Coach Downs, the high school football coach, doesn't start freshmen. So no matter how hard he works, he's never going to have the number one running back spot. That's always going to go to Drager. So the question here is Coach Downs' policy a good policy? Or should you always play the best player, the ones that's giving you the most hustle and the best results at practice? Okay. Or do you say a freshman's too young and they don't deserve to start? Okay. It's personal opinion.